Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to another severe weather forecast here by Age Weather Forecast. As you guys can tell, this is going to be another update on the potential for a very likely severe weather outbreak for the parts of the north central plains and maybe even part of the central plains for the weekend, all from much of Saturday and Sunday, which is the 23rd and 24th. It very well could be possibly the biggest threat for severe weather so far this month. So definitely major possibilities for tornadoes, large hail. I do apologize if you guys do hear my dog. He's actually in my room. I do apologize if you guys do hear him. He's a bit loud. But we have major updates on this, especially in the SPC. Also, major updates on the supercell composite parameter, Cape Valleys, and just the general areas that can get affected by the worst of the severe weather. So be sure to stay tuned to the channel. Be sure to stay tuned in the video. Also, if you are new to the channel, please subscribe. Also, please share the channel to any friends or family. Especially share the video to anybody that you know will be affected by the severe weather, because this could very well be quite a outbreak if this does follow through. Hope you guys enjoy the video, and let's try to get into it. Alright, so here we are looking at the SPC outlook here. So this is where we have our slight risk. Like I said earlier yesterday, I expected the slight risk to be here for today, and I do expect maybe an enhanced risk by tomorrow. For the day 2 outlook, I do expect this to be an enhanced risk by tomorrow. But this is where we have our area of focus right now. That's the slight risk. It's including much of Nebraska, much of South Dakota, including up here, North Platte, much of the Valentine, Nebraska, all those areas in the yellow. Those areas are on a slight risk, and we even have the tip of Iowa and Minnesota. So we have the tip of these states right here. You can see the tip of Minnesota is also in the slight risk, and the border with Iowa and South Dakota is also in that slight risk. So very well could possibly have the slight risk become a bit more widespread to multiple states. I also do expect the slight risk to move a bit more to Kansas, and I do expect this marginal to move more to Oklahoma and Texas, because we have a whole widespread threat, in my opinion, across much, if not all, the plains this weekend. But this is where we have our highest risk as of right now, a slight risk. And the probability has gone up quite a bit with the day 3 outlook. The probability of seeing severe weather, we have a 50% chance in those areas in the slight risk. And we have a significant severe risk. So a very high risk, or a let's just say, it's very likely to see some bad severe weather in these areas. And they're very confident that they put a significant severe risk. So definitely have a good possibility to see some really strong thunderstorms and potential tornadoes, large hail, and damaging winds. As we now look at the GFS radar here on May 23rd, and then we start to see these bands developing across these central plains, moving to parts of Minnesota, South Dakota, Missouri can possibly get affected, much of Kansas. This is where we have our severe weather for much of May 23rd. We're going to be seeing quite the strong bands in May 23rd. Can you see these bands move all the way into the lower Mississippi Valley and parts of the South Central? But here you have by May 23rd in the evening a low pressure system which formed in the eastern part of Wyoming, and that's going to bring extremely widespread severe weather from May 24th all the way from the Canada border to the Mexico border. See that the worst of it will obviously be parts of the Dakotas and the north central plains, including Nebraska and parts of the Midwest there, but definitely be seeing some really strong severe weather across parts of Oklahoma as well, Nebraska, of course, and definitely be seeing some severe weather even by May 25th. But that's not our area of focus. Kind of May 23rd will be our area of focus, and May 24th. Now, if we go ahead and check out the GFS for pivotal weather, this is showing a bit different on May 23rd, seeing the severe weather more likely into Iowa, Nebraska, and Kansas, and even parts of Oklahoma and the border of Texas. Here, not really as widespread here for parts of Dakotas on the pivotal weather radar. I do apologize, my dog is walking around, so I do apologize if you guys hear that a little bit. And as we now get later more into May 24th here, we start to see that severe weather starting to develop across parts of Dakota to that low pressure system down in Colorado. Going to be seeing quite the strong bands for parts of North Dakota, South Dakota, even parts of Nebraska. And that's exactly why we have that very widespread plain threat. Because look, we might even see some strong severe weather across parts of Oklahoma and Texas. So quite a very widespread threat all the way from the Dakotas to parts of Texas and Oklahoma throughout May 23rd and 24th. As we now move more to the 24th, we'll be seeing widespread bands across Texas and across the South Central, even seeing that more severe weather across parts of Dakotas. So definitely a very widespread for severe weather Definitely very widespread for severe weather across these areas in the plains, but it seems like the worst of it will be for more like the midwestern portion of the plains, including the north central parts like Nebraska. I do expect some severe weather to be quite harsh in Kansas as well, maybe even Oklahoma and Texas. But definitely have a very good possibilities, multiple outcomes that could happen, and we have quite a lot more states that could be added by the time it gets to day one. I think multiple more states will be added to either a level 1, level 2, and if we have a level 3, I do expect an enhanced risk to be issued. I do think that the tornado probability will be high enough. I also think the hail probability will be high enough, and even the wind threat. So I won't rule out the possibility for a moderate risk, but I do think this enhanced risk will. I think the best probability is an enhanced risk, but I can't rule out the possibility for a moderate risk because this seems to be the highest risk so far for the whole month of May, in my opinion, and other people's opinion. So as in May 22nd, which is Friday, which is tomorrow, we're going to start seeing this amount of energy and the high K values and all the ingredients setting in place by later into Friday, which is the day before the 23rd, which starts that big severe weather threat. As you see, we're going to be seeing some really high numbers to start off the May 22nd to the May 23rd. And as we get into the morning of Saturday, these numbers are absolutely crazy right here. Super high numbers, super high K values. Going to be seeing possibly 5,100 joules per kilogram here. And look at that, 0 for cap. You know what that means? We have extremely high K and really like no cap whatsoever. Like we have no cap. So this is absolutely crazy. This could definitely be a major. This is something that really need to worry about. Definitely, when you have these very high CAPE and like 0 as the cap number, that's something you want to worry about because that means this thing not only will not cap out, but we have no cap. So this nothing will stop these bands from developing because we don't have high cap. We don't have that big warm air aloft. And we have multiple 4,000 to 5,000 joules per kilogram across Kansas. As you see, parts of southern Kansas see around 4,300 joules per kilogram there. Look, -9 as cap, so that's still extremely weak cap. And as we now go more into the 23rd, these numbers kind of die down a little bit. As we get more into the morning, not having as much energy in these areas, we'll be seeing some 3,000s. But of course, as we get to Saturday, these numbers will increase for the northern plains here because that is our area of focus, and that is the area we'll be seeing that big severe weather. So here we have these getting some close to some triple digits, getting close to 1,000. And as we now move more into Saturday 23rd by the evening, that's when these numbers become a bit more widespread and very well. Look at how widespread all the energy is right here. And it's not only including the Midwest, it's including the North Central Plains, almost all the plains from the Canada border to Texas. We're having CAPE values that are decent conditions for severe weather. We're going to be seeing close to 2,000 joules per kilogram across parts of Nebraska now, and going to be seeing these very high CAPE values in Oklahoma. And look, 0 still as cap, almost 5,000 joules per kilogram, and we have 0 as cap. That is absolutely crazy. And look at this, by May 24th. Look at this right here. This is absolutely crazy, these K values. Just look at that. Look how far these colors are in the little graph. That is absolutely crazy. This is May 24th, this Sunday. And look at this. Can possibly get 5,500 joules per kilogram and -8 as cap. That is extremely, and I mean extremely low. Look at this. The supercell composite parameter is 21.2 in this area, and this is very likely we're going to be seeing very large hail by the Marshall tornado threat. And look, I know you can't say the strength of tornado before that survey, or even before hurricane tornado happens, but it seems like we definitely have a very strong tornadoes in these areas. As we now look in Texas as well. Look, near Dallas, we're seeing 4,500 joules per kilogram. Look at -2 as cap, and look at this. We're seeing a decent possibility for some severe weather across these areas, but the strongest and best probability to even look, Missouri, 4,300 joules per kilogram, 0 as cap. Very likely we have a 5.8 on supercell composite parameter, but we also have the probability for some weak tornadoes as well in these areas. And that those numbers do go down by the May 24th, and then later by the evening of May 24th, we see these numbers get a bit higher for the 25th. But the 25th won't necessarily be crazy. You could be seeing 4,200 joules per kilogram. And the chance for seeing supercells and tornadoes kind of does fall apart there, but these numbers are just, it's mental right here, these numbers right here. Look at this, almost 4,500 joules per kilogram. This is absolutely crazy right here. Just look at that. Let's see if that actually how high these numbers. -9. Supercell composite parameter out of 14.8. It's just absolutely crazy, these numbers here. Let me actually kind of zoom in. I kind of want to go on the, I kind of want to go into a region right now. It's going to go to Kansas. I really want to see how close up these numbers are, so we can actually take a look at these really high numbers. Just look at this, guys. Absolutely crazy. 5,600 joules per kilogram. This is crazy. That supercell, that significant tornado parameters out of 2. So around a smaller threat for tornadoes in that area. And then look at this, up to 5,400 joules per kilogram for Texas. A little bit of smaller threat for tornadoes there, as you see zeros. Zeros capped though, but crazy numbers here. As we look at the supercell composite parameter, these numbers are also very high. As we now get into the May 23rd, we're going to start seeing some decent numbers here. Really, anything higher than 20 on the SCP is quite considered high, and we're already seeing some teens considering the start of the severe weather. Going to be seeing a 17.3 on the supercell composite parameter, so quite let's just say a moderately high at this point. And as we now get more into May 24th here, these numbers skyrocket. Look at this, a 34 on the SCP for supercells. That is almost a guaranteed possibility for a supercell. Look at this, possible hazard, a tornado. Absolutely crazy. We have a 4.7 on the SCP right now. We have a 4.7 on the potential for a tornado. That is almost a 50-50 possibility for tornadoes in that area. As we now move into the area with a 34 SCP, this is also swinging 25.6 on the supercell composite parameter, and we have actually a 4 on this SCP, but very likely we'll be seeing some really large tornadoes in this outbreak. If it very likely could be an outbreak. And then as we continue more to the 24th, we'll see these higher numbers now at 25. Moving part to Nebraska, that's exactly where those higher numbers are at 26.4, but cap is very strong at -221. So that by really the 24th, by that the evening of the 24th, kind of seems like things cap out a little bit more. But even on 25th, we're seeing some 27s out here, but it seems like the cap is a bit stronger at -97, even though that's considered still considered a pretty weak cap. But we do have some smaller possibilities for tornadoes here. And last thing we'll be looking at is the wind shear here. And of course, for people who know, the more the wind shear, the better the probability for severe weather and strong bands and even outbreaks. By the May 23rd, we're seeing a little bit of area of some powerful winds here. I'm seeing little areas of really a strong amount of wind shear that's going to be moving out here into parts of the exact areas, including Kansas, Nebraska, Missouri. We have a little bit of wind shear there set in place for May 23rd. So that's actually pretty good. That actually is really this where we have the most amount of wind shear. That's actually the area where we have a severe weather for May 23rd right here. Look at this. Perfect. In the past couple of severe weather events in the past 2 weeks, we have really had little wind shear, but this is going to change. We're going to have a lot more wind shear coming in place. But by May 24th, we have a ton of wind shear coming in right here. Look at all of this wind shear right now. This low-level jet right here going to bring in a ton of wind shear across the area to the central plains, and that's definitely bringing a possibility for really strong severe weather in these areas and a great potential. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please do not forget to like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, and bye guys.